Okay, guys, this is unscripted. This is coming from my heart, and this is basically me giving my thoughts and my opinions on what's happening with regards to COVID. And what prompted me to do this was today on my way home, I was listening to the radio, and Bill Good got on the air, and I heard him rant about the anti-vaxxers and how that they're being selfish and he hates them and that they shouldn't be treated if they get ill in the hospital, kind of inciting hate towards these anti-vaxxers. Now, before I get too far into it, I need you to know that I am double vaccinated. Didn't want to. It was kind of like, all right, I surrender, which I regret, but there are reasons for why I did what I did. So I am double vaccinated. I've always followed the protocols. I've been a good boy, washing my hands, social distancing, avoid large gatherings, wear a mask, all that. I've done it. Now they're talking about a third or a booster vaccination, and they're talking about variant after variant. And I can tell you, this isn't going away. This is here for good. Now, I believe that there is something going on with regards to the virus. Whether how serious it is quite debatable. I know there's a lot of fear mongering going on, perpetuated mostly by the media and by the pharmaceutical companies and so on. But what I really want to say is that calling a person that is an anti-vaxxer that's being foolish, because if anything else, they're being very unselfish. They really believe in what they're standing for, and they truly believe that it's not just about the vaccine. They're fighting for their own freedoms and our children's and our children's freedoms. And this is the thing that you guys got to remember. Our freedoms and rights are being taken away at an alarming rate. I'm getting up there now. I'm pushing 60, and my time is relatively limited. I'm not going to be living to 100 probably. But I'm worried about my daughters. I'm worried about my friends' children as well. And if you really think that this is going away and that they're not going to lose a lot of freedoms over this, then you're not really thinking this through. And Mr. Bill Good, I lost a lot of respect for you. I think you're a great newscaster. I've always listened to you. But after I heard you say what you said, I kind of changed my mind. It was pretty uncool. You know what? I'm even okay with if you don't want to take the vaccine and you get sick from it, then you're not going to get treated at the hospital. For me, I'd be okay with that. I think that's fair and reasonable. I don't know how other unvaccinated people feel, but I remember like 2 years ago when this all first started, they shut down basically the whole goddamn world. And it was pretty freaky. And I actually videotaped a mall here in North Vancouver. It was like a ghost town, and all the stores were pretty much closed. There was hardly anyone around, and everyone was legitimately scared, and everybody quarantined. I remember walking down the street, and people would move to the other side of the sidewalk so they weren't getting close to you. It was pretty scary times. But anyway, I'm done, and I think it's about time that everybody else start to open up their eyes, use their brains a little bit, stop listening to the media, use your own eyes, see what's really going on. Like, do you see people dropping dead everywhere? Do you see the hospitals being absolutely overwhelmed in that? I haven't seen it yet. And keep in mind, too, the first almost 2 years of this, nobody was vaccinated. And I made it, and now I'm forced to take a vaccine pretty much. You don't call it being forced. You're not really given a choice, because if you don't take the vaccine, you really can't be a functioning part of society. And the other thing, too, I really want to mention, too, my heart goes out to the nurses. Like, to me, that's pretty fucked up what you guys are doing there, the hospitals and that, with regards to these nurses that don't want to get vaccinated, losing their jobs or having to find another position, maybe. These were our so-called heroes back in the early part. They're putting themselves at risk, and we were really going into the unknown. But anyway, that's where it's at now. Like I said, I'm double vaccinated. I regret it, but it's done, and there's no going back. Um, yeah, it's I don't know, guys. Everybody's got to start opening up their eyes and really see what's going on. And as far as knowing people that have died from COVID, I don't know anybody that's died from COVID. Yes, I've had direct family get COVID, and one of them, I'm not going to mention any names, got very sick. But a lot of it too is a misdiagnosis. They got the X-rays mixed up, apparently, of the chest, and it showed that his lungs were okay when he actually had double pneumonia. But not going to get into that. But I don't know why there's not more, I guess, trying to treat people that do get COVID. Oh, and the other thing that I find really stupid too, they're saying that, oh, if you're vaccinated, your chances of dying or getting seriously sick are less. That's absolute bullshit. I'll tell you why. Because even before the vaccine, some people would get COVID, not even know. Others would get COVID and get mildly sick. Some would show symptoms, and yeah, unfortunately, some would die. But yeah, I'm at a loss for words. I think I think this is absolute craziness. I think our freedoms and rights are far more important. And I think it's an individual choice at the end of the day. If you want to get the vaccine, go for it. If you don't want to, that's your right too. If you're worried about getting COVID and you're terrified of it, wear your mask, keep your distancing, stay isolated out of society. Don't leave your front door. That's up to you guys. But at the end of the day, the world's got to continue. This has got to stop. And that's basically it. Sorry, I ranted a little bit. This was totally unscripted. I just needed to get this off of my chest because I think enough is enough. This is stupid. And I know some of you are going to be against this, but I'm speaking from my heart. So I think anybody that thinks that anti-vaxxers are being selfish, think again. You guys, the vaccinated ones, might be the ones that are selfish because they're so worried about self-preservation and they're saying they're doing it for others. You're not putting yourself at risk by taking the vaccine. At least we don't know yet. But I was never really scared of the vaccine itself. I was more worried about the loss of freedoms and rights that are be going with it. And you can see it's happening now. Even with the vaccines, the lockdowns are still occurring. And yeah, it's just craziness. But anyway, that's my 2 bits. Sorry I rambled on. Bye. And be nice to one another. That's the main thing, okay? Just be nice to one another. Try to understand one another. All right? Take care.